Hi guys, welcome to my channel. If we haven't met, my name is Danny, and today I want to talk about pregnancy. This is a very real and currently lived experience for me. I am 28 weeks pregnant with baby number 5. I wanted to talk about weight gain, body image changes, and how to, keep a good perspective of all of that. That's what I'm gonna dive into today. So I first want to give a disclaimer. I'm not a nutritionist, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a midwife, I'm not a nurse, I'm not a whatever, dietitian. This is just my personal life experience and what this process looks like for me. I hope that there's something that is encouraging to you if you are in the midst of this process. I hope you feel like you're not alone in dealing with challenges in this process. Okay, so let's dive in. I'm gonna break this down into a couple different parts and I'm gonna try to stay on topic here. But the first part is gonna be about the mindset piece. Why pregnancy as a mindset has been hard for me, specifically why pregnancy and weight gain and the change in my body and the view of my body and how my body looks and how it feels, why that is hard for me. And then also what I have learned through going through multiple pregnancies at this point that helped me try to stay grounded and have a good perspective and focus on it. Then I want to share a little bit about what I actually do, just my own personal experience, practical tips. Again, this is not meant to be medical advice for anybody, but this is just what has worked for me. And then I do want to focus a little tiny bit on postpartum because that's like a whole nother roller coaster. So first, mindset. When I got pregnant with my first baby, I was 29. So I had had all of my 20s to live in my adult body, post-teenage body, and my body pretty much stayed relatively close to the same. And so when I became pregnant, and first off, nausea and exhaustion hit me like a freight train. And the idea of running anywhere was, besides just maybe running to the toilet to puke, was just absolutely overwhelming. That was hard because mentally I didn't have a good way to cope with my own life without having some physical fitness exertion built in. That was mentally challenging. And then I came out of that morning sickness, nausea space, and I had lost muscle tone, I'd lost endurance, my body was starting to shift and change. I didn't feel like it was entirely healthy for me to just like jump straight back into what my regimen had been from 16, 18 weeks prior to that. And so that was really hard. I felt like kind of like the rug had been pulled out from underneath of me in terms of what do I do for like health and fitness. I did kind of jump back into walking a lot, and then I started doing more at-home body weight cardio workouts, and then I scaled them back a bit once I hit like my 3rd trimester, but I didn't probably scale them back as much as I should have. I just remember feeling like I don't want to be somebody who is unwise about weight gain either way. Like I don't want to be somebody who's so strict and stuck on my own, how my body looks and feels, that I'm not willing to yield in ways to help support my baby's health. Like obviously I want to do what I need to do in order to have a healthy baby, but I don't want to be so lax about physical fitness that I A, lose muscle tone, and B, just gain a ton more weight than what's recommended. So I did gain weight, and that's been one of the mindset pieces that's been hard for me with every pregnancy. Of course you gain weight. It's normal for somebody in that normal BMI to gain 25 to 35 pounds. But when you've gone like your entire adult life and you've never seen the scales climb that high before, it is a bit of a shock to the system, because especially that first time, I had no idea if it was gonna come off. Yeah, that's mentally just a hard place to be, because I remember about this stage in pregnancy where you're just pronouncedly pregnant. I have no good way to judge. I've told my husband, like, nothing is normal. Like my waist isn't normal. I can't rely on my jeans to fit like normal because everything has changed. I can't rely on my bras to fit like normal because your cup sizes are going up and your ribs are flaring to make room for the baby. And so nothing feels normal. How do you even have a good perspective of like whether this is a healthy amount of weight gain or whether this is an excessive amount of weight gain. I guess, to be honest, I never was super concerned about not gaining enough weight because I knew that the scales were going up, but it is hard. I do think every time I've gone through this, particularly because every time after I've had a baby, I have gotten back to what feels normal for me. However, I do feel like it does not happen instantaneously. It is slow and gradual process up throughout pregnancy. And then I always hope that it's gonna be like this fast recovery, but it is not. And for me, my personal experience has been, it is a slow and gradual process back down. And I have come to be more comfortable with that process. From the time I find out that I'm pregnant, it is gonna be at least 18 months, possibly even up to 2 years, for me, in my experience, before I really feel like I'm totally back to normal. In terms of my energy levels, in terms of my muscle tone. And so all of that means right about now, 28 weeks into pregnancy, I'm feeling huge and I'm feeling awkward and I'm feeling swollen. Like, I don't have super swollen feet or anything, but it just feels like, everything is just heavy, and I look at myself and I feel like not myself. I feel like, that's me, but that's like the pregnant version of me, not the normal version of me, or what I want to be the normal version of me. And that can be really hard to deal with. What helps me, and if you are a first-time mom experiencing this for the first time, this is what I would be saying to you. That's why I'm saying it to you now. This is a season. It is not forever. It is truly a sacrificial process to be pregnant. And it is okay to feel like that is a costly sacrifice, and also such a sacred, honoring role to carry and to live out. It is very normal to feel a little bit like a foreigner in your own body at this stage of pregnancy, and that's okay. Doesn't mean that you will always feel this way. It just means that that's what it is right now, and it's going to change in the future, and you will have power to do changes in the future. But right now in pregnancy, you might have limited options. You might not be able to strength train heavy and go hard with HIIT and really try to up your physical activity and really try to dial in your diet, because you need to be thinking about the health and well-being of your baby. And it's okay if that means that you gain weight. Weight gain is normal in pregnancy. It is expected, and it does not have to stick around forever. You will most likely need to do some work after pregnancy in order to get back to what your pre-pregnancy is, or back to like a normal healthy range for you. It's normal to feel like it's really, really hard. It's also normal to feel like discouraged. Like, I don't know if I'm ever gonna get back to normal. I feel like I'm just fat. And I get it, but also know that it's not forever, and it does get better. And so with each of my pregnancies, I have faced this. I have dealt with this in the 3rd trimester. My husband is an absolute dream, and he is always just like trying to ground me. I'm so thankful for that. It's okay, and it's hard, and it doesn't have to be that way forever. That was a long section. Let's dive into what I have kind of figured out to do during my pregnancies that I feel like helps me. Number 1 is I keep moving. I know that that's hard, but my physical body, the aches and the pains that I feel like come with pregnancy, if I keep moving and maintaining that muscle tone, it helps. So a couple things that I specifically do. After multiple pregnancies and working out what seems to work best with my body, I find I cannot do workouts, like at home video workouts every day of the week. Mentally, that's just not the best thing for me. I really like walking. I really like being outside. So what I have done both in the last pregnancy and in this pregnancy, which I feel like has been a really healthy thing for me, is I walk about 5 kilometers, so about 3 miles, every other day during the week. And then I do some weight training on the opposite days of the week. I like to use Nourish Move Love. I really love their YouTube channel. I'll link them below. She has some great pregnancy workouts. I don't usually go as heavy as she goes because I haven't built up the tolerance for that, but I like to lift weights and feel like I'm getting a good cardio at the same time. Or the other workout channel that I've really enjoyed using, I will probably be switching more to her stuff here in the next few weeks, because I like to kind of start with Nourish, Move, Love stuff, and then I do pregnancy and postpartum TV because it's a little bit more Pilates, a little bit less lifting weights overhead, and a little bit more like either lighter weights or like body weights. So that just works for me and like kind of my energy levels and what I feel like doing throughout pregnancy. I've been doing Nourish, Move, Love workouts once the morning sickness kind of stopped. A few times during the morning sickness, I didn't stress about it too much. But from about 16 weeks on to currently, I'll probably keep doing them for another 2 weeks or so. And then I will start to transition over to pregnancy and postpartum TV. And I'll do those up until about 35, 36 weeks. And then I start to really scale back. I have never gone into labor before my due date. My due date has always come and gone, and then I go into labor. So I'm not scaling back because I'm assuming I'm gonna have a baby at 37 weeks. But I do like to scale back so that I can just give my body a chance to have a little bit less stress in the system, and also to focus more on like stretching and relaxing and breathing techniques in preparation for labor. And I don't do like strict hypnobirthing. I really like the Bradley Method book that I've read, and I've implemented some of that. But I also start doing more spinning babies, the 3 Sisters of Balance, really intentionally from like 35, 36 weeks on, and that just takes the time. And then I nap. I get rest. I don't worry as much about it. So that's what has worked well for me. I also try to prioritize protein intake. I've really tried this pregnancy and the last pregnancy to shoot for 80 to 100 grams of protein per day, which is a lot for me. I try to focus on protein and vegetables, and then fruit becomes more of like a treat, and other carbohydrates become something that's like, oh, at the end of my meal, I might have a slice of bread if I'm still a bit hungry after I know that I've gotten my 30 grams of protein in or whatever. So protein, exercise, and then hydrating. In fact, I need to start upping my hydration amount because I feel like I just haven't quite been hitting it enough. I do electrolytes at times, especially like for me, I'm getting closer into the summer now. And then sleep. And in pregnancy, I always try to figure if I'm shooting for 8 hours of sleep a night, that means I need to be in bed at least 9 to 9.5 hours in order to actually get 8 hours of sleep. Because for me, at least, my sleep is very disturbed when I'm pregnant. I'm getting up to go to the bathroom, usually at least once a night, sometimes up to 3 times a night. And I just find myself like tossing and turning and rolling over to just try to get comfortable and keep the weight of my belly comfortable and stuff like that. So that is what helps me feel my best during pregnancy. I don't ever feel like my normal self during pregnancy. I feel normal when I'm not pregnant, and then when I'm pregnant, it's a different version of me. But that is what I have done to try to help my physical, mental, even just like, you know, the hormonal ups and downs. If I'm getting enough sleep, it's so much easier for me to feel like I'm well balanced. Hey guys, I'm just popping on here to let you know that I cut the video there because my postpartum section ended up being long as well. And I just thought, you know, nobody needs to hear me chat that long about pregnancy and postpartum all at once. So I cut that out, and it will go in a separate video. That should be going live soon as I finish editing it and getting it uploaded. So in the meantime, this is the conclusion of the pregnancy, weight gain, body image challenges, and also how I deal with it and how I've kind of approached trying to be healthy holistically in pregnancy. I hope it was helpful, and thanks for being here. I will see you in my next video.